Have you ever noticed that chilling feeling in the pit of your stomach when he doesn't reply to a message for longer than usual? Or that quiet panic when his tone seems just a bit colder than yesterday? You start replaying every possible scenario. In your head, analyzing every word, searching for hidden meanings in his silence. Your mind becomes a courtroom where you are the prosecutor, the defense attorney, and the accused, all at the same time. And the main question hammering at your temples is, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this so he won't leave? This fear, which masquerades as love and care, is actually the most potent poison, intoxicating both you and your relationship. You think that by holding him tighter, you are ensuring your own safety. But in reality, the stronger your grip, the more desperately he looks for a crack to free his hand. This is not just an observation. It is a fundamental law of the human psyche that Carl Jung considered one of the key indicators of inner unhealthiness. Your fear of losing a man is not a story about him. It is a story about your own internal fracture. It is the voice of the part of you that does not feel valuable in and of itself. The part that believes her happiness, her significance, her very existence depends on the presence and approval of another person. And this fear, this desperate need for another, radiates an energy that a man reads not with his mind, but with his entire being. He feels not love, but weight, not attraction, but pressure, not freedom, but an invisible cage whose walls you are building with your own anxieties. Jung would have told you something that might seem cruel, but is actually liberating. A man doesn't leave you. He leaves your fear. He flees from the vacuum you are trying to fill with him. He instinctively pulls away from the energetic vortex that threatens to swallow his own freedom. The paradox we will uncover today is that the only way to truly keep a man is to develop an inner readiness to lose him, not out of coldness or indifference, but from the deepest sense of your own value and wholeness. When you stop being afraid, you become not repulsive, but magnetically attractive. I will guide you through the 7 pillars of this inner freedom. 7 principles that will transform your fear into your greatest strength. They will help you shift the focus from him to yourself, and as a result, change the entire dynamic of your relationship. The 4th and 7th pillars will be especially important. They hold the essence of your transformation from the one who is afraid into the one they are afraid to lose. Are you ready to exit the prison of your fear and enter the space of genuine love and freedom? Then let's begin. Pillar 1. Fear is a psychic poison, not an elixir of love. The first and most dangerous trap we fall into is the confusion between fear and love. We think that the more we fear losing someone, the more we love them. I worry about him so much because he's dear to me. I'm jealous because I'm afraid of losing him, which means I love him. This substitution of concepts lies at the heart of the most destructive relationships. Jung, who studied the flows of psychic energy, or libido, taught that love and fear are 2 fundamentally different, almost opposite, energies. Love is an energy of expansion. It comes from a state of fullness, of abundance. It seeks to give, to grant freedom, to rejoice in the growth of the other. Love says, I want you to be well, even if it means you will be happy without me. This is the highest, purest form of love, born of wholeness. Fear, in contrast, is an energy of contraction. It is born from a sense of lack, emptiness, deficit. It seeks to control, to hold on, to limit. Fear doesn't give. It demands guarantees. It doesn't liberate. It imprisons. Fear says, I will be miserable without you, so you must be with me, so that I won't be miserable. Do you feel the difference? In the first case, the focus is on the well-being of the other. In the second, it's an attempt to patch your own hole at the expense of another. A man in the field of your fear does not feel loved. He feels like a function, necessary for your emotional survival. He feels the unspoken but enormous burden of responsibility for your happiness on his shoulders. This is not inspiring. It is suffocating. No psychologically healthy person wants to be in the role of an emotional crutch or a life raft for long. He will instinctively gravitate toward where he is loved, not where he is needed. Jung would say that your fear is a projection of your own shadow, the part of you that feels small, helpless, and inadequate. You see in the man not a real person, but a savior who must protect you from encountering this shadow part of yourself. You try to love him so that you won't have to love and accept the frightened little girl inside of you. To begin detoxing from this poison. Every time you feel a pang of fear or jealousy, stop, take a breath, and ask yourself an honest question. What am I feeling right now, love for him or fear for myself? Stop using the word love when what you really mean is I'm afraid. Call things by their proper names, at least to yourself. I don't love him that much. I'm just terrified of being alone. This honesty is the first step toward healing. Shift your focus from how can I keep him to why am I so afraid of being alone? What is the worst thing that will happen if he leaves? The answer to this question will point you to your real wound that needs to be healed. Your fear is not an elixir of love, but a slow-acting poison that erodes respect, trust, and attraction. By acknowledging this, you take the first step toward replacing this poison with the living water of genuine love, which is born not from fear, but from freedom. Pillar 2. The illusion of control and the murder of mystery. Fear inevitably gives rise to the need for control. This control can be overt, checking his phone, interrogations like, where were you, who were you with, prohibitions. But more often, it is subtle, disguised as care. Are you dressed warmly? Don't forget to call me when you get there. I'm just worried about you. Or it can be emotional control, manipulation through hurt feelings, tears, guilt. If you loved me, you wouldn't have done that. Jung would explain this through the concept of the persona, the social mask we wear. A woman possessed by fear puts on the persona of the perfect, caring partner. But behind this mask hides her shadow, a little tyrant who craves total control, because control gives her the illusion of security. But here's the paradox. The very thing that gives you the illusion of security kills the most important thing in a man: attraction. Male psychology is largely built on the energy of achievement, exploration, conquest. A man is drawn to mystery, to a puzzle, to freedom, both his own and the woman's. When you try to control everything, you are essentially doing three destructive things. 1. You deprive him of air. Constant control creates a feeling of suffocation. He feels not like a grown man, but like a teenager who has to report to an anxious mother. This castrates his masculine energy and causes not gratitude, but a dull irritation and a desire to escape. 2. You kill the mystery. By controlling his every move, you make him as predictable and understandable as a book you've already read. But attraction lives in what is left unsaid, in the space for imagination. A woman who knows everything and controls everything becomes flat and uninteresting. A woman who has her own life and doesn't spend all her energy monitoring his life remains a puzzle he wants to solve. 3. You demonstrate your weakness. Your need for control is a cry about your own insecurity. You are essentially telling him, I don't believe I am valuable enough for you to choose me willingly. Therefore, I must control you so you don't leave. A strong, self-confident woman does not need control. Her confidence is her main control. She trusts life, and more importantly, herself. Jung taught that the more rigid and unyielding our persona is, the more powerful and unpredictable our shadow becomes. Your mask of the caring woman will sooner or later crack, and from beneath, It will erupt an uncontrollable tantrum or passive aggression when you feel you are losing control. And that frightens a man even more. The path to freedom lies through abandoning the illusion of control. Practice an information detox. Consciously refuse to check his social media. Give him the right to his personal space, both physical and digital. When you feel the urge to ask a controlling question, and who else will be there? Stop. Ask yourself, is this information truly vital for me? Or is it just my fear looking for fuel? Replace the controlling question with one that expresses trust. I hope you have a great time. Switch the energy of control from him to yourself. Instead of planning his evening, plan your own. Instead of wondering what he is doing, do something that interests you. By giving up control, you are not losing him. You are returning air, mystery, and respect to the relationship. You stop being an anxious mother and become a desired woman, the one he wants to return to, not escape from. Pillar 3. The gravity of wholeness versus the vacuum of need. Imagine the universe. There are stars, massive, hot, shining objects. They possess their own energy and immense gravity. They don't chase after planets. Planets orbit them naturally, drawn by their mass and light. And then there are black holes, objects with infinite density that emit nothing, only absorb. They suck in everything that gets too close. Jung, being not only a psychologist but also a mystic, often used such metaphors. In the context of a relationship, a woman living from fear is not like a star, but like a black hole. She does not radiate her own energy, but tries to absorb someone else's. Her inner emptiness, her neediness, creates a vacuum that she desperately tries to fill with a man's presence, his attention, his love. A man approaching such a woman feels this vacuuming effect. He senses that his energy, his time, his emotions are draining into the bottomless funnel of her need. No matter how much he gives, it will never be enough, because the internal void cannot be filled by something external. This is frightening and exhausting. A woman who has found wholeness, however, is like a star. She herself is a source of light, warmth, and energy. She does not need a man to feel complete. Her life is filled with meaning, interests, friends, creativity. She is her own support and the center of her universe. She has her own gravity, and here is where the paradox occurs. Such a woman does not try to hold on to anyone. She simply is. She shines. And a man, like a planet, is naturally drawn into her field. He wants to be near her to bask in the rays of her light, not to save her from the darkness. He feels that. With her, he doesn't lose, but gains. He himself begins to shine brighter. A relationship with such a woman is not servitude or rescue. It is a dance of two stars that amplify each other's light. Jung called this process of finding one's inner center individuation. It is the path to oneself, to that inner core of personality that is whole and independent of external evaluations. A woman connected to herself stops being a half, looking for her other half. She becomes a whole world. How can you start cultivating this inner gravity? Stop waiting for him to make you happy. Take 100% responsibility for your own happiness. Make a list of 20 things that bring you joy and start doing at least one of them every day without waiting for his participation. Find your source of energy. What ignites you? Dancing? Painting? Learning a new language? Volunteering? Devote time and passion to it. When you are on fire with your own purpose, you become a beacon. Practice solitude not as a punishment, but as a resource. Take yourself on dates. Go to the movies, a cafe, an exhibition. Learn to enjoy your own company. The more comfortable you are alone with yourself, the less you need another, and the more attractive you become. Stop being a vacuum trying to pull a man in. Become a radiant star, and he will want to be in your orbit himself. Not because he has to, but because he is irresistibly drawn to your light. Pillar 4. Reclaiming the savior projection and meeting your own power. This is one of the deepest and most important principles. Very often, our fear of losing. A man is based on an unconscious projection. We project onto him the image of the savior, the protector, the one who will fix everything. We endow him with qualities that we believe we lack: strength, confidence, stability, the ability to cope with the world. Jung taught that projection is the unconscious transfer of one's own qualities, both good and bad, onto another person. In this case, you are handing over your own undeveloped or unacknowledged power to the man. You renounce it in yourself and begin to worship it in him. And of course, you are terrified of losing him, because then you would seemingly lose this power, this support. You would be left alone, weak and defenseless, in the face of a big, scary world. But this is the greatest illusion. You are not afraid of losing him. You are afraid of losing access to your own power, which you have gifted to him. The man in this scheme is just a screen. He might not actually be that strong and confident, but your projection makes you. See him as a knight in shining armor. The paradox is that by clinging to him, you prevent yourself from developing these qualities. As long as you have an external crutch, you have no incentive to learn to walk on your own. You remain in an infantile position, and you place him in a parental one. This father-daughter dynamic can be comfortable for a short time, but it kills passion and equal partnership. A man needs a partner, not another child. Liberation begins with the courageous act of reclaiming the projection. You must mentally take back your power. Make a list of the qualities you value and admire in him: decisiveness, calmness in difficult situations, financial stability, the ability to stand up for himself. Next to each quality, write, "This also exists in me, but in a dormant state." Ask yourself for each point, what small step can I take today to start developing this quality in myself? If it's decisiveness, make a decision on your own that you've been putting off. If it's the ability to stand up for yourself, say no where you would normally agree. If it's financial stability, start learning. The basics of financial literacy. Jung would call this the integration of your animus, your inner masculine, the archetype of strength, structure, and action. Instead of seeking a man on the outside, you begin to cultivate him on the inside. You yourself become your own support, protector, and problem solver. When you reclaim the projection, a miracle happens. First, you begin to see the real person, not your idealized image. This may bring some disappointment, but it is healing. Second, your fear of losing him weakens because you no longer depend on him as your sole source of power. You have your own internal source. You stop being a fragile flower that needs a gardener. You become a mighty tree with deep roots. And then a man can come and rest in the shade of your canopy, not constantly prop you up so you don't fall. This is the attraction of equals. Pillar 5. The power of feminine. Dignity and the language of boundaries. The fear of losing someone makes us do the exact opposite of what inspires respect. It makes us give up our interests, cancel plans with friends, agree to things that are unpleasant to us, forgive disrespect, and silence our grievances. We are afraid that if we show some backbone, set a boundary, or express dissatisfaction, he will get offended and leave. We become convenient. And convenience is the antonym of desirability. Jung would say that the inability to set boundaries is a sign of an undeveloped personality, of fusion with another, of the loss of one's individuality. For a man, a woman without boundaries is like a country without borders. It can be trampled on, its resources can be used, its territory can be violated with impunity. It's impossible to respect such a country. Feminine dignity is not arrogance or bitchiness. It is a calm and firm awareness of your own value, and consequently, your own boundaries. It is the ability to say no, not capriciously, not aggressively, but calmly and confidently. No, I can't today. I have other plans. No, that doesn't work for me. No, you can't talk to me like that. Every such no, spoken without fear, builds the invisible wall of your dignity. And it is against this wall that others' manipulations and disrespect shatter. A man faced with such a boundary receives a clear signal. This woman values herself. She can't be pushed around. Her respect must be earned. The paradox is that men are not afraid of women with boundaries. They respect them. Boundaries create structure and clarity. They show that you are not a formless mass ready to take any shape for his sake, but a separate, whole person. This is precisely what creates interest and attraction. A man is much more interested in a woman whose yes has value because she knows how to say no. Her yes is a conscious choice, not a forced measure born of fear. To learn this, start small. Say no in some insignificant situation where you usually agree out of politeness. Feel that the world did not collapse. Define your non-negotiables. What is absolutely unacceptable to you in a relationship? Write it down and promise yourself never to betray these principles. When you feel your boundaries are being violated, don't attack. Use I statements. Not, you don't respect. Me. But when you speak that way, I feel disrespected. This is not an accusation, but a statement of fact and an invitation to dialogue. Jung taught that encountering the shadow, in this case, your fear of being bad or inconvenient, is a necessary step toward wholeness. By setting boundaries, you integrate your shadow power, your healthy aggression, which is needed not for attacking, but for protecting your inner world. And it is this inner security that is the dignity before which a man involuntarily bows his head. Asterisk pillar 6, a magic of disinterest and the gift of your absence. Asterisk, in the age of instant messaging and constant connectivity, we have fallen into the trap of immediacy. Fear makes us available 24/7. We reply to messages instantly, always answer the phone, are ready to drop everything and come at a moment's notice. We are afraid that if we miss a call or reply an hour later, he will think we don't care about him and lose interest. The exact opposite happens. Jung, speaking of psychic energy, emphasized the importance of rhythm of tension and release. Constant availability is constant tension without release. It has no rhythm, no play, no air. It devalues your presence. That which is always available in unlimited quantities ceases to be valued. This is a basic law of psychology. The magic of disinterest is not playing the ice queen. It is not manipulation. It is the natural consequence of you having your own rich and interesting life. See pillars 3 and 4. You don't reply instantly, not because you're playing a game, but because you were busy working, reading a book, meditating, talking with a friend. You can't meet tonight, not to play hard to get, but because you already have plans that are important to you. You don't text him first every morning, not out of pride, but because your first thought is about the day ahead and your goals, not whether he is online or not. This creates what can be called the gift of your absence. When you are not around or online, the man has space to miss you, to think about you, to feel the value of your presence. In the silence of your absence, his desire is born. He begins to make an effort to get into your field, to earn your time and attention. Jung would say that this is a manifestation of healthy egoism, which is the foundation of a healthy personality. You put your life, your interests, and your time first, not out of contempt for him, but out of respect for yourself. Not how to practice this. Give yourself days or evenings without your phone. Dedicate this time to full immersion in reality. Don't be afraid of pauses in texting. Silence is not always a bad sign. Often, it's just silence. Don't rush to fill it with your anxiety. Consciously plan your week to include things you do. Only for yourself, and that cannot be canceled for him. These are your sacred hours. When you give a man the gift of your absence, you give him the greatest gift of all, the chance to fight for you, the chance to miss you, the chance to truly appreciate how good it is when you are around. You stop being background noise in his life and become beautiful music that he eagerly awaits. Asterisk Pillar 7. The transformation of fear into trust, the alchemy of the soul. Asterisk. This is the pinnacle of our journey. The ultimate goal is not to suppress fear, not to ignore it, but to transform it. Jung was deeply fascinated by alchemy, seeing it as a metaphor for the psychological process of transformation. Alchemists sought to turn base lead into pure gold. In our psychology, the lead is our basic animalistic fear, and the gold is conscious, deep trust. But here is the main secret. This is not trust in him. It is not blind faith that he will never leave or betray you. No one can give such guarantees. It is something much more profound. It is trust in yourself and trust in life. Trust in yourself is the firm inner confidence. No matter what happens, even if he leaves, I will be okay. My world will not collapse. I can survive this pain and become even stronger. I have myself, and that is enough. This trust is born from all the previous pillars, from your wholeness, your strength, your boundaries, your own full life. Trust in life is the philosophical position that everything that happens for the best for your growth and evolution. If a person leaves your life, it means they are making space for something or someone more suitable for you at your new stage. This is not fatalism, but a wise acceptance of the flow of life without resistance. When you reach this state, an alchemical transformation occurs. Your fear, the lead, does not disappear completely, but it loses its power. It becomes just a signal that you can look at calmly, but which no longer controls your actions. In its place comes a calm, radiant trust, the gold. It is this energy of trust that a man reads as absolute confidence and strength. He feels that you are with him, not out of fear, not out of need, but by free choice. You choose to be with him today, but your happiness does not depend on whether you will be together tomorrow. This lifts a huge burden from him, and paradoxically, makes him want to be with you even more. He understands that he is with not a frightened little girl, but a queen who rules her own world. And to lose such a woman is truly a great loss. This path of transformation is what Jung called individuation. It is not a set of tricks to keep a man. It is deep inner work to create yourself. Ultimately, the paradox is resolved simply. You stop being afraid of losing him, not because you get guarantees that he will stay, but because you gain something far more valuable yourself. Whole, strong, free. And then the question, will he leave or not, loses its agonizing sharpness. Because the most important person in your life will never, ever leave you. That person is you. Become not the one who is afraid to lose, but the one whom to lose is a genuine loss. And then you will see how the great paradox of life works. By letting go, we gain. By ceasing to be afraid, we become those whom it is impossible not to love and value.